Let's start today with a quick question. Have you noticed how often, like the Finance Department, the Bank of Canada, all the major financial institutions have to revise their forecasts for the economy? Well, I'd say the word relentless is appropriate. So what's the problem? Are they ignorant? Are they lying to us? Are they incompetent? No. It's because the challenge of predicting the actions of all consumers, businesses, both domestically and internationally, governments at all levels, commodity prices, currency values, all those variables which go into predicting economic growth and have an impact on economic growth are so numerous and complex. I think that's pretty straightforward to understand. You think about this. When it comes to politics, we suddenly think there are no such constraints or difficulties. Political parties all pretend they can control or manage the economy, which is akin to saying they can control or manage all the variables in play. And the media, I'm just shocked at this, dutifully goes along with it. Think about this. It was the prime narrative of the last federal election campaign. Every party seeking power promises that they have the solution for jobs or economic growth and prosperity. And once in power, I think to the great detriment of all of us, they try and do it. Venezuela's Hugo Chavez, Fidel Castro promised to manage their respective economies. The European Union, individual countries like France, Italy, Spain, all promise to manage their economies. And government institutions play right along, led by the central banks. Central banks have relentlessly manipulated interest rates, currency markets, asset prices, all in an effort to manage the economy. And they failed, unless dramatically increasing income inequality was the goal. We got record low interest rates, even negative rates. We got currency devaluations. We got government spending at huge amounts, record times. The creation of trillions of dollars with the click of a keyboard, unprecedented program of quantitative easing. For what? They haven't prevented the deflation that brought down the commodity complex, threatens developing nations' economies. We have massive unemployment problems, including a continuation of technological substitution, eliminating jobs. We have sovereign debt problems, especially in the third world, banking problems in Europe, economic stagnation throughout the world. Anyone who has not completely gone full Kardashian and can still think for themselves has to be asking, control the economy, manage the economy, how's that working out? Well, obviously not well. We're witnessing the financial collapse of some cities, of states, entire countries. We're living the rise of the permanent unemployed. We got increasing violence. And the biggie, we're starting to witness the implosion of the entitlement system. But here's the point. The system of government control or management or whatever you call it never could work. It's impossible. It doesn't matter what party's in power. There are too many variables to control. No government, no leader, no party can control them. While our politicians love to put complex subjects on bumper stickers, the world doesn't work that way. I look at Donald Trump's declaration of making America great again. Not many specifics, just sloganeering. That's because the complexity is just too great. And it's such an important point. It never could work. It's the same problem with predicting investment moves. There's so many variables, domestic, international, individual. For example, consumer spending plays a pivotal role in the economy, but predicting consumer spending comes down to the actions of 34 million Canadians, which in turn are influenced by a wide variety of factors, from the weather to their job security. Still, government suggests they can. They can manage or control the same array of variables. Forgive me for reiterating, but I'm incredulous that people continue to buy into that delusion because it's such utter nonsense. Look around. High unemployment or economic stagnation, precarious financial situations are the norm, not the exception. I keep coming back to this personally. I says, the government can't even manage a native reserve, for goodness sakes. They want to manage the entire economy? The formula seems to be, right now, the higher degree of government intervention, the bigger the problems. Just look at the history of the former Soviet Union. By any financial, economic measure, it got its ass kicked by less regulated, less government intervention in the U.S. system. Now, I appreciate this is a very old debate, but something's changed. We have more data, starting with the failure of the European welfare state economic model, or the socialist regimes in Venezuela, France, and more importantly, the failure of the model of increasing regulation and taxation in Canada by all three levels of government is failing to produce economic growth. At some point, we got to notice it's not working. But as I said, The point to get is that it never could work. Economies are too complex. Way too many variables must be controlled in order to control the outcome. But that message continues to be ignored by big government advocates. They want to legislate the economy, just like they legislate social justice issues. Well, it can't work. I'm not arguing that governments don't play a role. Of course they do. There's a regulatory role to pay. Taxes are necessary, but in the effort to control or manage the economy, we've way overdone it. And it's caught up to us right now. It's caught up to us in the form of weak global and domestic growth. And the solution is not more of it, not more of the same. My gosh, but that's all we're getting offered. It hasn't worked. It isn't working, and more importantly, it can't work. The world is simply too complex.